Hello,
everyone.
welcome back to Bible Basics. This day, this week, this time,
This day.
right now, we're talking about...
the Gospels, but
The Gospels.
like the Gospels. So some people might think that
We've
the
got to
Bible...
leave a bit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm just too excited.
Welcome back. We are talking about the Gospels, of which there are...
There are four Gospels.
Four Gospels,
within the Bible. Yeah.
which are Matthew, Mark, Luke and John.
That is right. The four come in that order: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the Bible. Now, Matthew, Mark, and Luke are all kind of the same story. They all kind of cover the same sort of bits and pieces. They're all very similar, and there's a word for them. Synoptic Gospels. There you go. So those three kind of cover the same bits and pieces. Matthew was written for the Jewish people. So a lot of Matthew's Gospel is kind of referencing the Old Testament. If you check out our other video, you'll see the bits on there. I'm just doing a lot of hands, I'm not playing a keyboard. But Mark's Gospel was written for Gentiles, so people, nope, that's not right. Mark's Gospel was sort of like a race. He was just saying like Jesus was doing this and this and this and this and this, dotting through different parts of Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Nazareth, all those bits and pieces of stories. Jesus is doing a lot of stuff.
It's a log, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like a notebook. If you were bullet pointing Jesus' life, look for Mark's Gospel. I love it. And finally, Luke's Gospel was written for Gentiles, people who weren't Jewish people. So it was written for people who wouldn't really understand the Old Testament, wouldn't know it particularly well. But Jesus' life is for everyone, not just for the Jewish people.
Yeah. Now, John's Gospel, John's is my favourite.
Yeah.
This is where it gets a bit deep, doesn't it? It gets a bit
Just
theological.
A little bit. Yeah.
This was written a lot later, really, because they
Yeah.
were written quite close together. John's was a bit later, so people had time to figure out a bit about Jesus, about his divinity,
That's it.
humanity,
Who he was.
things about Holy Communion, about transubstantiation. All these kind of bits and bobs were starting to kind of become a big deal.
Yeah.
And you find lots of very kind of powerful theological stuff. It's a bit meatier, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. And it's kind of a different story. It's about, Jesus' divinity, Jesus' love, and the kind of character of Jesus rather than just the stories and things that Jesus was doing. So it's a beautifully written gospel. Now, it's interesting you were saying his was written later, but actually, a lot of them were written quite a lot later than we think, mainly because they all just thought Jesus was coming back really soon.
Yeah.
They thought that Jesus was kind of gone back into heaven and was like, any day now, guys, he's going to reappear, so we don't need to write any of this down. But actually, they then realised, hold on a minute, he might not be coming straight back. Let's write all of this down, which is why we then have the four Gospels.
Indeed. And they're referred to sometimes as the good news.
Very good news.
It is very good news. It's really good news. Yeah. But those bits about Jesus, that's why we treat them differently in liturgy, don't we?
Yeah.
We kind of give them special reverence because they are the life of Jesus, and each one gives a different perspective on the same story and a greater understanding. So definitely have a look around and get reading, because the Gospels are a great way to get to grips with your faith.
Definitely.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Peace.
See you soon.